Britain is facing a storm unlike anything seen in decades, and it's unfolding at a pace that's left both politicians and the public in shock. The country's most powerful and reliable ally, the United States, has suddenly turned its back, and it all comes down to one man's political gamble gone wrong. Prime Minister Keir Starmer thought he was betting on the future when he threw his party's weight against Donald Trump during the American election. Instead, he has backed Britain into a corner, and now the consequences are landing with the force of a political earthquake. For years, Labour figures mocked Trump, painting him as unfit for leadership, using words that went beyond normal political rhetoric. They thought they were safe, convinced that 2024 would deliver another Democratic president. Starmer's team even crossed the line, sending activists to campaign in swing states against Trump, something Trump's camp now frames as blatant foreign interference. To Trump, this wasn't just criticism, it was betrayal, and betrayal in Trump's world demands revenge. Fast forward to January 2025. The world's leaders gathered in Washington for Trump's second inauguration. Italy, Argentina, and countless others were front and center. But the United Kingdom, America's closest wartime ally, found itself humiliated. Starmer wasn't invited. Britain wasn't even in the room. It was a calculated snub, designed to send a message to every country watching: the UK doesn't matter anymore. For a nation that stood shoulder to shoulder with America through 2 world wars, the Cold War, and the fight against terrorism, this was more than an insult. It was a signal of exile. But the humiliation was only the beginning. America isn't just a political ally. It's Britain's largest trading partner, worth over £280 billion a year. From aerospace to pharmaceuticals, from luxury cars to finance, entire regions of the UK depend on access to American markets. And Trump has made it clear he's preparing tariffs of up to 25% on British goods. That would devastate industries across the Midlands and North, wiping out jobs and pushing the cost of living crisis into overdrive. Imagine fuel prices spiking, food becoming even more expensive, and the pound tumbling against the dollar. For ordinary families already struggling, this could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, Starmer is left scrambling. Reports say he's been desperately trying to secure a call with Trump, sending messages, pleading for a meeting. None of it has worked. Trump's team is stonewalling Britain, freezing them out in public forums, leaving British diplomats isolated and ignored. Then came another blunder, the appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to Washington. For Trump's circle, this was the ultimate insult, sending a face of the very establishment he despises. Republican insiders are openly mocking the decision, some saying Mandelson may not even get access to senior officials. What was once one of the most powerful diplomatic seats in Washington may now be reduced to irrelevance. And then there's Elon Musk, who has added fuel to the fire in his own way. Using his massive social media platform, Musk has gone on the offensive against Starmer's government, highlighting scandals, accusing Labour of censorship, and painting Starmer as authoritarian. Musk isn't just tweeting, he's taking sides, openly backing Nigel Farage and the Reform UK party, hinting at pouring millions into their campaigns. To many Britons frustrated with politics, Musk is being hailed as a defender of free speech and British values, while their own prime minister is portrayed as weak and irrelevant. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Starmer was excluded from Trump's inauguration, while Farage, who holds no official power, was treated like a VIP. Trump praised him as spectacular, paraded him in front of cameras, and even credited him with influencing his political strategy. The message was crystal clear. Trump sees Farage as the true voice of Britain, while Starmer is invisible. Imagine the damage to Britain's image when the President of the United States openly favors the leader of an opposition party over the sitting Prime Minister. Inside Westminster, panic is spreading. Senior Labour MPs are whispering about leadership challenges, debating whether Starmer has become too toxic to keep in power. The fear is simple. If Trump isolates Britain for 4 long years, the damage may be irreversible. Trade could collapse, jobs could vanish, and Britain's standing on the world stage could shrink beyond recognition. And even if Starmer were replaced, would Trump forgive the party that tried to destroy him? Or does Labour's past mean any leader they put forward will carry the same stain? To make matters worse, Labour's perceived closeness to China puts them further at odds with Trump's foreign policy. While Trump is rallying allies to contain Beijing, Starmer's team has been cautious, reluctant to confront China on sensitive issues. To Trump, that makes Britain not just irrelevant, but potentially dangerous. Why share intelligence with a government seen as friendly to his biggest rival? This dynamic risks pulling Britain into a dangerous spiral, where every move to protect itself from Trump pushes it closer to Beijing, and every step closer to Beijing pushes Trump to punish it further. This crisis is rolling out in stages. First came the diplomatic snubs, now comes the looming economic war. The next step could be Trump openly supporting Farage and Reform UK, treating them as Britain's government-in-waiting while ignoring Starmer entirely. The fact that we're already halfway down this path should alarm every British citizen, because the consequences aren't just abstract politics, they're jobs, prices, alliances, and the country's future. Keir Starmer made a bet that Trump was gone for good. He bet wrong. Now the UK is facing tariffs, humiliation, and the collapse of its most important alliance. Britain's special relationship with America, the foundation of its influence since 1945, is collapsing in real time. The world is watching, and allies are adjusting, questioning whether Britain is still worth prioritizing. The question now isn't just whether Starmer can survive as Prime Minister, it's whether Britain itself can survive 4 years in the diplomatic wilderness. And as the clock ticks, one thing is certain. The next 90 days will decide whether Britain remains a major global player or becomes a cautionary tale for what happens when you gamble against Donald Trump and lose.